Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, October the 17th, 2022. Monday, October the 17th. Well, we have, Ashley's already stormed off yesterday from society, and Jack tells Tucker, no, no, oh, no, no, you come have a seat. Tucker is so smooth. He goes, well, I wouldn't pass up a chance to sit down and talk with the great Jack Abbott. Well, sure. So, it is so funny. He's almost making fun of you, but in the sincerest way, in just the sincerest, mild mannered way. And of course, Jack is inserting himself in to stay away from Ashley. Ashley doesn't want to be with you and this, that, and the other. And Tucker's like, I understand why you feel that way. But you know what? Ultimately, that's going to be up to me and Ashley. I mean, it was great. So Jack, of course, got nowhere. Diane walks in and, of course, gets beckoned over to the table again, and she's thinking, I can't go out anywhere without somebody carousing me over to a table with Tucker, whether it's Tucker, whether it's Jack, whether it's whatever. So she sits down. Actually, Jack is the one that beckons her over. And he goes, there's talk going around that you and Tucker knew each other in California. You were actually, together. Well, not together, but courting or see, you knew each other in California. He knew you were alive and you guys were hanging out pretty much. And he asked Tucker that before Ashley got there. Tucker danced around it intentionally. Jack would say, again, you haven't said no. You haven't denied it. Oh, I could deny it. But then again, you probably wouldn't believe it, right? I mean, Jack got nowhere with Tucker. Now, Diane, on the other hand, I didn't know. I hadn't seen this man since my death. Isn't that interesting to say? Since my death, right? Because you ain't dead, chick, right? But since my death, no, so he goes, Diane, look me in the eyes and tell me. She looks Jack straight in the eye. No, I had not seen Tucker in LA. This is the first time I've seen Tucker in years. No, Jack, these are lies, baseless lies. And he's like, what? I wanted to hear this from you, you know? And so not Ashley, Diane, goes on a little mini tangent, but Jack is just watching her now. He's just looking at her, looking at the way she's explaining it, just watching Diane. He's unsure about, what Nikki is saying is making a little sense to me, and I can't just blindly overlook it, on top of the fact that Tucker is not denying it, even though he wouldn't believe Tucker if he did deny it, but that's the truth. So Jack ends up going home and talking to Tracy. Tracy is there, and Tracy is that voice of reason, the one you want to talk to. And so he makes them both a drink, and she just, says, Jack, wow, those are some serious coincidences, right? Some serious coincidences, and perhaps they're right, perhaps they're not. You don't have all the facts, And he goes, Diane, she looked me in the eyes and she denied it. And Tracy's like, she could be telling you the truth, Jack. And almost like, or she could not be. Tracy still she doesn't really give her true opinion. She says, I just am of the firm belief that innocent until proven guilty. And she's like, Jack, I could see you're struggling with this. I could see that because you have given Diane the benefit of the doubt on a lot. And so Tracy said, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with waiting until there's more concrete evidence. You do not have to make a decision. There's really no decision for you to make right now. She says, perhaps, Jack, perhaps you can just deal with Diane with your eyes open just a little bit more. In other words, she's like, look, if it's staring you straight in the face, it's the truth. So watch, look, just observe, just really don't be so, she didn't tell him, don't be so quick to defend that. No, just sit back and she goes, just watch. And she told Jack, she says, because you know what, Jack? The truth always has a way of coming out. The truth's gonna come out. And he goes, yeah, Tracy, you're right. You're right. So that was pretty good. Tracy always gives such sage and sound advice. I really, really like Tracy. Then we have Nick talking to Sharon, and Nick tells Sharon that he is seeing someone and who it is, because Sharon can see what's wrong with you, because he's looking a little nervous, because he doesn't know if Adam is going to win Sally back, and he doesn't know. So he tells Sharon who he's seeing, and she's like, wait, wow. Woo. Sally. And she doesn't judge him at all. But it was interesting that Sharon says, this is kind of a pattern with you and Adam. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, you both going after the same women. There was me, Chelsea, and now Sally. And when she said that, I thought you forgot Sage. Sage was another one, okay? It's always that way. So she goes, how much is this about you, Sally, or how much is this about Adam? And he says, this has nothing to do with Adam. And she goes, no, it pretty much has everything to do with Adam. It really does, Nick. I mean, and she told the truth. It really does. And everybody who really knows Nick knows it's about Adam. If Adam was not involved with Sally Spectra before, Nick would have never given her the time of day. The kind of woman Sally Spectra is not the kind of woman Nick Newman would be involved with, or that would know he could trust. He dumped Phyllis because Phyllis couldn't fit in his mold. Well, Sally Spectra is the definition of not fitting into anybody's mold, period. So anyway, Sally and Adam finish their talk. She ends up leaving. Adam ends up drinking up on that roof, having a stupid dream about Sally, and came back, and Nick came and interrupted, blah, 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 blah. But Sally ends up texting Nick. No, Sally goes back to the office. Oh my goodness. Chloe just does not have a life. She is a broken record. And you know what? I'm even sick of hearing from Chloe. Chloe just needs to where's Kevin? You're so busy. You're so busy worrying about everybody else. And when you're doing this, Kevin is usually off getting himself into some kind of trouble. Thankfully, it's not the cheating, womanizing kind of trouble, but it's the breaking the law kind of trouble. Worry about Kevin instead of trying to manage adults' lives. Oh my goodness. So anyway, Sally texts Nick and he says, well, where are you? And he's like, he's at Crimson Lights. So she comes there and they're talking. I mean, they are just so boring together. Oh, they are not a match at all, right? And so she's saying how, yes, she did. She had a good time. She told him, she goes, he bared his soul. He was very sincere. We actually had a good time, and she and Nick are just, but what about us? But what should we do? It's just the same. Well, what do you think what should we do? Should we just walk away? Should this just be, so they decided, well, we'll just go our separate ways. And then Nick kind of reaches out for her and she's hugging him. And it's not even a hug. It's just a, oh, okay, we'll just go our separate ways. And I think our separate ways will end up being me ending up at your hotel room, right? Me ending up in the bed with you because we were supposed to be going back to work on so many occasions and never made it, right? So what are we going to do? We'll just hug, go our separate ways, end up in the bed and say, we didn't mean for this. How did this happen? Well, Summer walks into Crimson Lights and she sees Nick and Sally hugging. And she's looking like, wait, huh? Tomorrow's going to be good because Summer's going to want some answers. Truly, she's going to want some answers to this. And I can't wait for Nick to explain this to his daughter, how he is in a relationship with Sally Spectra. Now, did I even talk about, I don't think I talked about Diane and Tucker. Diane and Tucker, after Jack left, Diane goes over to the bar. Tucker goes over and he's, being Tucker cool. Like, Diane, wow. And that's when he told her about, oh, you look Jack Abbott straight in the face and you lied. And Diane is just like, you're ruining this for me. Our business is finished, Tucker. It's done. You wanted to know when Ashley's back. Ashley's back. And he goes, I know Ashley's back. I already met with Ashley. Ashley called me. Then fine, we're through. This is too risky. I've invested too much into this. And he goes, well, I beg to differ with you, Diane. And she's like, what do you mean you beg to differ? He goes, you didn't tell me Ashley was back. You didn't live up to your end of the bargain. How would I know Ashley would call to meet you? She beat me to the punch. And he's like, well, you didn't deliver. And then he gave the stupid analogy. I hire a man to come mow my lawn and a goat gets there and eats up the grass before he can mow it. Do I owe the man money? No, he didn't deliver on the bargain. She goes, Diane, you didn't deliver. And he goes, you're not done. You're not done until I say you're done. And actually, that's the first time I saw him get a little stern with anybody since he's been back. He's like, you're not done until I tell you you're done, Diane. You forgetting who's in control here? And I was like, whoa. And Diane's just like, but there's nothing else I can do. She's breaking up a bit. And he's just like, get out of here, Diane. He goes, look, his phone, he got a text. And he goes, I gotta go. And he looked at her as he's walking by. He goes, I'll be in touch. And she's just sitting there as he's walking away like, she was so used to, since she's been back in Genoa City, pulling all the strings, pulling all of them and getting away with it. See, it's great. Phyllis and Nikki, really all they got to, if they play their cards right, sit back and watch the show. Because Diane is so unrattled just because Tucker is there. And that's something Jack is starting to see. See, we're not going to have too many. Let's take our grandson to the park. Oh, I just love my afternoons, my lunchtime from work, watching our grandson. Diane doesn't want to be around Jack too much because Jack is starting to ask her questions. Jack is starting to study her movements and it's making her nervous. So she's going to be trying to back off as Jack is going to be trying to get just not closer to her, but observe her more. That's just going to really backfire on Diane. And I'm looking really forward to that. So now Tucker gets back to his room. And of course, I may be prematurely calling it, but of course, his daughter is there. Okay, his daughter is in his room. Because how many employees of yours are you going to give a key to your suite where you've got your personal effects, you've got your jewelry, you've got all your private possessions in that room? You wouldn't let an employee just beat you there, okay? Not when are you going to be back at your place, or you not texting them, meet me at that place. She's already there waiting on him. About time you got home, Daddy. That's the only thing she hasn't said. But she's yet to call him Tucker either. She's yet to call him, address him by any name. And that's on purpose. She's not saying Mr. McCall, Mr. Tucker McCall, nothing. Yes. And so then she's the one that tells him, she tells him Nate is the mole. Nate is the one selling insider information. Nate is the snitch. Nate is the Benedict Arnold. She didn't tell him all that. She just said Nate's the one that's been, giving insider information to someone. And she goes, it's too bad he goes, ooh, Nate. Oh, no wonder why Devon was so upset. It's Nate, his cousin. Ooh, that makes sense now. And she goes, Devon was here? He goes, yeah, he was accusing me of coming after Chancellor. And she looks at him, and this is the first time she acknowledged, well, you are. I mean, that's going to put a hamper in your plans with that company. He goes, no, not really. It's not going to put a hamper in my plans and getting Chancellor. And I thought, you plan on taking Chancellor? Why, you scoundrel, Tucker McCall. How you going to smooth that over with your son? And you can kiss your grandson goodbye. So there's a bigger plan at play to me. Seriously, there is a bigger plan at play. And so he's sitting there and he goes, another. So she goes, who do you think that other CEO is? And Tucker said, Victoria Newman. And she goes, no, Newman's been buying up a whole lot of other companies. They made large acquisitions. Their money reserves must be really, really low about now. And Tucker's like, not necessarily. Not necessarily. He goes, I think it's Victoria Newman. And that's worth, I don't know if he used the word investigating, but that's worth looking into. Because I'm going to have to pay Victoria Newman a visit. He's on the right track. It is 100% Victoria. And he is just, this is going to be interesting. Tucker's bringing a little spice, a lot of spice to the method. So I really like that. So that was about it today with Y&R. Nothing else really happened there. So let's go to Comment Corner. The Foxy Lady 14. Jack is disappointing to say the least. Every time Diane comes around Jack, he is more understanding and accommodating of her. But I think that's about to change. I really, really do. Chloe, get a life. Well said, Foxy Lady 14. Chloe needs to definitely get a life. Natasha says, I'm really enjoying Y&R right now. I like Nate as the villain and Tucker is so entertaining. This is my intro to his character. Oh, yeah. The other actor that played Tucker, it was not entertaining, but just as charismatic. But Trevor St. John is adding just spice to this, and I really love it. I think I missed seeing Trevor on the scene. Yeah, well, he wasn't on the scene before. It was a different actor. Libby says, no, Devon said something. Yeah, this was did Devon spill the beans about the IPO? And Libby says, no, Devon said something about a takeover. He didn't say about an IPO. You're right. He continued to be vague with Tucker. And Tucker asked, well, what would make them vulnerable to a takeover? And he goes, well, remember, there's a recent merge between Hamilton Winters and Chancellors, which makes sense. And thanks, Daily Recap Lady, for filling me in on the parts that I've missed. You are welcome, Libby. Juanita says, I thought building was going to, oh, you mean must mean Billy. I thought Billy was good at the podcast. I thought so too. And Billy loved that podcast, but still, that did not mean that Billy, that was his true direction. That was like their therapeutic relief to him. It really, really was. I thought podcasting was Billy's forte. I mean, he was good at it. That would make sense for Billy to be in charge of finding the 50 podcasts that Nate promised. Both his podcasts were a success. Yeah, both of them. It was the Grinning Soul and his other one, because one was a pseudo name. Elena could do a podcast from wherever she ends up, but I think she's going to cut all ties. But it looks like um, that's one more story plot the writers just tossed out the window. Yeah, right now there's nothing for Elena. And Dito says Jerry Douglas left the show in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was arrested. I think his arrest had to do with Tom Fisher. I think so too. Gloria's ex-husband and Kevin's father. I think so too. Maybe he killed Tom Fisher. I don't know for sure. Medora says when Sally got mad because she thinks Adam only wanted her because of Nick, why doesn't she think Nick's only wanted her to get under Adam's skin? I know, right? And then Lucy said, that's true, but Nick is not like Adam. Adam would do that, but with Sally, he is not. If Nick told Sally what he said to him, she would believe what Adam was saying. And then Medora said, true, but Nick is a serial cheater. He has skeletons in his closet as well. Yes, he does. Nick put a pass for accidentally killing Ashlyn, but Victor put Adam in prison because he was mad at him. Yes, he did put Adam in prison. But Nick went to prison too, but Victor didn't put him there. Kimberly said, these two have been doing this their whole lives. Whoever one has, the other one wants. Throughout their whole adult lives, because they really didn't meet until they were adults, realistically. And then Lisa says, it seems Adam has been the one to be with the women, Sage, Chelsea, Sally, except Sally Adam had first, then Nick takes over. Yeah, well, except for Sharon. Sharon was, Nick's childhood sweetheart. Seriously, so that is definitely true. I don't remember if Sharon was involved with Nick while, no. Sharon and Nick were childhood sweethearts from high school and just like graduating high school. Adam did not come into the Newman family's picture for years later as an adult. Victor did not know Adam was his son, Sage. Well, when he did find out, yeah, he did know that Adam was his son. Not Sage, whatever Adam's mother's name was, I forgot. Hope. I think her name was Hope. She promised Victor he would stay away. He knew Adam existed, and the family knew, but they didn't know Adam. Adam never was merged with them until much later, after he graduated Harvard. And that's when he kind of came back with a vengeance and a hate and trying to destroy the family. So Adam just was much later. And then Sharon was also one, saying that was another woman that was forgotten about. So that is the comments from Comment Corner. That was it for the Young and the Restless. Let's see what they have going on Tuesday. Tuesday, a slow day. We'll see, because this was just an okay day. I want to see what's happening with Devon, with Lily, with Nate. Let's see how Victoria sucks Nate in, because they showed scenes where she's going to offer him a job, but Nate is going to regret ever working for a Newman. Nate already knows what the Newmans are like. He almost lost his medical license behind the Newmans, behind him faking somebody's death. And also treating, I forget that situation. What was it? But yeah, Nate has crossed the lines for the Newmans on more than one occasion, period, medically. So I will be back tomorrow for the next daily recap for The Young and the Restless.